What a close prediction that we have here. Is it the performance that MMG has done to get the audience to believe in them more? But we saw Ryuta believe it in MILLESIME MG. They've got their fans ready to go, but the defending champs are not going anywhere. They are gonna bring their best to try to make it back to back. Because if REPOTTED Gaming win this, and then if they make it back to the finals, we have a repeat of last year.
Never even thought of that, Carbon, but let's dive straight in here. Mr. C from America here in South. Oh my.
What?
You could see the surprise. I was just leading him into the attack. He's speechless. I mean, what do you say? The heartbreak there of losing the RC so early. He's got 6 invisibility spells that are now really difficult for him to use, and he's not really going to be able to get much value with that recall. This is majorly thinking on the fly now.
Yeah, unfortunate. Maybe he could have deployed the queen somewhere and then try to recall her at that point because he's got that spell for funneling. But now it's all about trying to react on the fly. But the funneling, yeah, he's trying to reroute the routes to the town hall. So he uses the double invis. He will have to poison up this clan castle. At this point now, he's into 2-star recovery mode. Once you lose your world champion like that, the attack hopes for getting that 3-star pretty much fly right out that window. But he's continuing through in towards the core of this base, taking a lot of damage. The troop launcher launching those shots, but the queen has decided to move all the way to the left to follow his king.
Yeah, I really like the use of the invis to direct them to the town hall, make sure that he could at least lock that up. But the problem he has is there's no damage behind the Root Riders, so he actually decides to recall the Grand Warden out of there, place him over by his other heroes where he does have a bit more damage, just allow those Root Riders to go down.
Unfortunately, the monolith is still up, and he can't target that at any point, so the Warden will eventually get locked down. He's going down, tries to keep him alive so the Rage Gem can continue to benefit his heroes. But unfortunately, this is going to be a low percent 2-star. If you lose your Royal Champion that early and essentially swag all those invis, it is not a good sight. Mr. C, unfortunately, not able to set the tone for their match. And REPOTTED Gaming, Leo gets a fantastic defense here. And most likely, Leo will then try to respond right away, as he is usually the first attacker for their team.
And what an opportunity he has here to put REPOTTED Gaming in the lead, whereby the war is in their hands and they can just decide their own fate at that point. Is 65% 2-star it is for MILLESIME MG.
It feels like a gut punch right there, especially after all the attacks are in. That may be the difference maker for all of the attacks in this match here. So Mr. C, he's got to put that out of his mind, and he has to go and completely change his mental state to help his teammates. Make sure he tries to help spot anything that they don't see. Be that spotter, help the plan in the attack, because they know that they're going to have to make a comeback after that percentage, because they most likely at that point won't win in the percentage game.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because all of these players put so much in, so you can understand the frustration. But like you said, right now, all he can do is try and help his teammates to have the best plans, spotting them in the background, do whatever it takes to work as a team to try and grind out that victory. But Leo of REPOTTED Gaming is looking to take advantage.
And that's one thing you don't think about. Really, when, let's say, Leo's attacking and then you have a spotter that calls something out, it could really be the spotter that saves the triple, but you never know because we don't hear them. It's all about the attacker there. So really your teammates play a critical role in these attacks here, as Leo is charging the queen straight on in towards this right side of the base with the double overgrowth strategy. Will the queen target into the scatter? Yes. So she goes into this compartment, locks onto the expo, and will be able to grab the scatter and pull the queen and this warden back. The warden does have the unicorn here, so he decided not to go Anger Jail on the queen because he was able to still charge this compartment. So I guess he gets the benefit of a unicorn on the warden just in case if the healers were to not heal him up and go to the queen.
Yeah, I was actually about to mention that about the Archer Queen having the Sneezy Pet means he equally has that little bit extra testing for the healers since he didn't have to go with the Angry Jelly. Nice pickup of the defending queen there. Healers getting his attacking queen healed back up, and the log launcher now opening up things, but let's see what happens here. Queen is actually, oh, nope. She is going to continue down the bottom of the base, but that's seemingly what is planned so that the log launcher can rip out the little section here.
Ooh.
Now the Root Rider's moving in at 6.
Log launcher did not get hit by the rocket balloons there, but it does open up. Royal Champion has been deployed. It looks like healers have transferred off to the Yetis and near this Royal Champion, but the overgrowth onto the Town Hall and the multi is going to continue the routes to the left side. So he's going to have to wait until the overgrowth wears off to be able to lock onto the Town Hall. With one more overgrowth to use, probably to the top side. Maybe he wants to wait until, okay, poison got launched. Now you could possibly use the overgrowth near that poison spell tower or even on it so that it stops from reloading. There you go.
He's lost a lot of troops at the bottom there though, Carbon. The Crusher Mortar wiped out his Valkyries. Root Rider's all but gone as well as he's trying to multitask since the RC is up at the top of the base. Thankfully, the Archer Queen does get the Town Hall, and he's still got 2 abilities to drive up that percentage. He's already ahead in the percentage game, but it looks like it might be that little bit far for the 3-star.
Queen and King have ability. 5 super barbs are quite a bit actually, but unfortunately no wall break for them. There's the spiky ball right on through, hit some critical defenses. Queen has access to be able to reach those. Hang on here with 30 seconds. The multi is one of the biggest threats. Finally pops Queen ability. Now where are the super barbs gonna go? He's gonna have to drop them, it looks like to the left. He tried to get them into that scatter behind the roots, but the scatter does go down. He's moving through, locking onto the defensive minion prince. 1 minion left, trying to drop to the top side. Queen's gonna have to reach over the wall, grab that ground expo, but the multi is not in reach just yet.
Super close. Wait a second.
Come on.
Does
come
actually
on.
step through. 99.
Oh!
I thought he was going to time fail.
What?
He pulls it off. Manages to surround the multi-archer tower at the top. Wow, a 3-star. So that means they have the star advantage and the 35% advantage at this stage as well.
This feels like a 2-star lead at this point right now because of the low percent, which was a 65 from Mr. C. But Leo, a fantastic way to start for the defending champs. They are doing their absolute best to make it back to the grand finals. And this time, it's a little flip of the switch. Tribe Gaming is coming from the upper bracket, while last year it was Repotted Gaming that came from the upper bracket. And pressure is on, but you focused on here this match. Let's see, is Isma maybe gonna attack next? Well, because normally in the other matches, he was the first attacker. Maybe he likes to attack toward the beginning, and indeed, he is deciding to go next for them.
Indeed. As Kronos said, for Tribe Gaming though, they're focusing on 1 war at a time. Repotted would still have to get through Elevate in order to get to face off against Tribe Gaming, and they struggled against Elevate earlier on. However, 1 match at a time, focusing on this one. MMG have still got 4 attacks left in order to catch up here. There is plenty of war left for them to be able to spin this around, but Isma using a couple of those rocket loons across to the top area of the base. Meanwhile, now diving the Royal Champion in, doesn't have to worry about her getting caught to that most northern compartment. He can control her right into this area.
As this RC charging right through, if he did find a tornado trap, it would actually rotate the RC kind of towards the scatter shot. So it wouldn't be too big of a deal, but it doesn't look like the tornado trap is here as he continues through. But unfortunately, that poison spell is quite annoying, so he pulls back the RC and manages to bring the Spirit Fox with in that recall. But the deployment of the Warden with the roots straight to the top side, and he even is going to redeploy that Royal Champion probably up there as the Queen is still now placed, and there is a little bit of a later deployment of the RC so that she doesn't get hit by any of the damage, and hopefully she can start to heal herself back up.
Absolutely critically important if your Royal Champion is a bit low on damage to make sure you don't send her in too early. She's faster than the Root Riders. That's exactly why it's important to keep the Spirit Fox alive. She'll constantly be blinking in and out of being visible, so therefore she can be getting healed back up, which is exactly what you see now. Barbarian King to the left to try and help force that defensive funnel to keep the Root Riders moving around the inside.
And he does have some walls open near that town hall, so the Yeti has made its way to the town hall. Will it be able to try it? No, there's no way one Yeti can solo the town hall. It goes down pretty quickly. Decides to overgrowth the far right side. The Royal Champion now makes her way to the core, but the Ice Golem freezes her up, so she should be able to grab it with the assistance of an Invis or a Freeze. But the power through this bottom side with a Giga Bomb looming down there.
I feel like he was a bit early on the skeleton spell. It's nearly worn off now by the time his troops get there, but he does now send the Rocket Loons to quickly get that Monolith down. Got hit by most of his troops with that Giga Bomb. And we do see the Archer Queen stuck in the middle of the base there, having to force that ability to try and get through the wall. And it's all starting to fizzle out here with quite a few defenses left to go.
Yeah, the Queen does get through the wall, but unfortunately, the Minion Prince takes her out. And we're going to have yet another defense here for Repotted Gaming. 2 strong defenses against MILLESIME MG. If Repotted get another triple to go 2 for 2, the hopes of MILLESIME MG is going to start to rely on their closers, and that is a tough task to pull off, as he's trying to get as much percentage as possible with that giant. One little archer to the far right side, but there's just a little too much remaining in the space.
Yeah, just being patient with this Rocket Loon, trying to see where he needs to send it, let the Root Rider get the damage, maybe he can get it onto that Fire Spitter, get that 1 extra percentage point. Oh, I thought he was actually going to, but time failed there. In terms of sniping the few defenses, 83%. And like you mentioned, Repotted can take even more advantage. Still plenty of attacks to go, but as the war goes on, MILLESIME MG have to start catching up.
It's the mental game. 3 stars and 3 stars. And if you're only pulling off 2 stars, you start to realize if we don't triple in our next attack, it could be over.
Yeah.
They would have to start taking as big of risks as possible just to try to come back, because they know they're in the lower bracket. And if you lose in the lower bracket, you are eliminated from the competition. And every single win from here on out, you are increasing your prize money by thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, even at this point, MILLESIME MG were on the brink of being eliminated yesterday, where they would have finished in the 7th and 8th spot. Yeah. So they've been able to claw their prize pooling up quite a bit by getting the 2 victories today. But against Repotted Gaming, are they going to be able to do it? Einstein it is. He has been so impressive in the first couple of wars, actually. And here we go with the Warden Fireball. He has this as his signature move, lands that Fireball, gets brilliant value there. You do need a 3rd Earthquake to take out that Ricochet Cannon, so often just left, and he can pick that up with the Warden as he moves in.
Just one little Rocket Loon will finish it off to the left side, or even just like a tap for the Warden. It's very low health, but he is not waiting around with the Flame Flinger to the top. Does pull the poison or near that Town Hall. Oh, deploys the Queen pretty close to this Warden, which now means that the Warden will go support the Queen, because remember, the Warden is a support hero. He can be pulled by a hero or enough troop space, and then he will start to change his target to go assist.
Absolutely. So now he can utilize the Rage Gem alongside the Archer Queen and those Root Riders diving into the base, overgrowthing the Town Hall so that he's not taking the damage of that huge range. But hopefully the timing here wears off, whereby he can snipe it out pretty quick.
Yeah, the overgrowth is about to wear off here soon. Flame Flinger is still doing work to the top side. Going to be working onto that Fire Spirit. There is the next overgrowth, which clips the Monolith to the backside, makes the Warden invisible, trying to keep him alive. Hopefully the Queen can go for the Ricochet Cannon and does decide to freeze, which is a perfect freeze so that Warden stays alive.
Took a lot of damage on the healers there and lost most of them, in fact, which means now his heroes being obliterated by the defending Minion Prince, not going to be able to survive. The good thing about the overgrowth is you can pick up percentage points whilst that has locked defenses down, but the danger is then when they come back alive, you are in big trouble. He's still got some troops to come out of the Flame Flinger, but at this point, it's trying to keep the percentage up, because remember, they are ahead on not just stars, but a good amount of percent over MILLESIME MG, but the last attack by Isma was 83%. So if he gets above that, he can claw their percentage even higher.
Yeah, every percentage point matters here in the attack, especially having a star lead. They're going to be considered up almost 2 stars. They're going to have to be able to win by stars only at that point. But there it is. He is surpassing what Isma was able to do of the 83%. So REPOTTED Gaming are in a very comfortable position at the moment, but things can change on a dime. One attack from MILLESIME MG, and they can be right back in it. So Einstein, a great effort, 87% 2-star there. Unfortunately, not able to get it. Of course, he would love to try that again. The Fireball went exactly where he wanted, but unfortunately, he wasn't able to push through the remaining part of that base.
It's like most of my war attacks. I'd love to be able to try it again. I'd love to see if the plan would have worked. But after that attack, he doesn't have to worry too much. Remember, it's a team game, and so far, REPOTTED 1 star and 39% in the lead. However, MMG, mid-war, it's make or break now. They cannot leave it too far, whereby they have to be finishing off to make sure it doesn't become mathematically impossible for them to catch up. So if they 3-star here, they at least start to put a little bit of pressure on the REPOTTED and give themselves a lifeline.
You know what, Judo? Well, maybe we should be given 2 attacks. Like, we get 2 attacks in war, maybe we should be given 4 attacks. Just if we mess up, you could fix it, just to see.
Or I could just FC bases after the war is finished.
Yes.
I'd love to see that come in.
Yes, that would be fun.
Back to this one though, Addy. Rocket Loons. Let's go, Carbon. I always love to see this. Plenty of invis spells.
Oh,
it hits the...
No.
Did he not see the Tesla, or...
Yeah.
I mean, it was there.
It popped.
Yikes.
But he wasn't reacting to it. He could have tried to invis. But again, another one of those situations where you go with 2 invis right away, and then unfortunately a Tesla pops and completely changes that plan, because the multi was supposed to go down. The Minion Prince should have taken a lot of damage as well from that Fireball.
Now he's got to be very careful. King moving across. Fortunately, the Minion Prince is out of range. He's going to have to freeze the King here as well, just to make sure. But yeah, if you're fast enough with your Warden, you can actually get past the Tesla initially. There's the Minion Prince attacking onto the Grand Warden, manages to keep that alive, but this is where he wouldn't have had to invest these spells, right? So even though he's keeping the Warden alive, is he gonna, still keeping it alive. He wasn't expecting to invest what he has to take this down, and that will mean he has less further on into the raid.
These archers are such an annoyance here. They are doing a lot of distraction on this one, but he is able to get through it, poisons up the furnace right there to help take it out. But his Flame Flinger is still slowly working through that right side, taking that out. But the Warden, the Rocket Loop came out.
Careful, careful! Warden, no!
What? He's down.
I wonder if he was focusing elsewhere and not sure, but when those Rocket Loons come over, if they get on top of your Grand Warden, then there's not a lot you can do. You have to freeze them, but he didn't have that. Even turning the Warden invisible, he would have had to wait. But anyways, with that down, he's got to be very careful getting to the Town Hall. He's got to invest these invisibility spells for the Royal Champion to make sure at least that goes down. But again, it will be another low percentage attack, meaning that REPOTTED can continue to drive further in the lead.
Yeah, RC is now pathing to the Town Hall, pops her ability, taking that down, securing the 2nd star. His Queen ability did go off to the far left, but the RC finally grabbing it. Couple Rocket Loons trying to grab the defenses to the outside. Yetis did come out of the Flame Flinger from the far right side, still continuing trying to go over there, but finally now joins into the core. I mean, he's racking up the percentage here slowly, there's not too much, so you can see.
So you can see the frustration, because he's so close. If he had hit the Fireball and he didn't have to invest those spells, I think he would have got this. You can see the plan working.
Yeah. That's it. One little Tesla can stop you from advancing in a competition like this, That's why it's very critical to place your traps perfectly on those bases because you never know what can make the difference. And look,
I can't believe how far he got.
Wow, what a comeback from that fireball, not getting the value he was hoping for. I mean, he tripled in his last attack in the previous match, and he came this close. One little mistake in terms of not making that Tesla invisible cost him that compartment, and not getting all that value, he definitely would have 3-starred.
Absolutely, and I think it's always impressive to see, even when they don't 3-star, how high of a percentage some of the players can get despite things going wrong. We've seen that in that instance, but Reported Gaming here to take the advantage. That's another defense technically where they can drive themselves even further in the lead. I would expect it would be American to attack now, given their previous lineup of attackers, and it is. Let's see what he's got for us.
He is up next. Can and not hold American to a 2-star. I mean, he would love a 1, but
certainly would.
He would. But let's see, with 14 Rocket Loons, 9 Dragons, and this is a heavy, heavy RC charge, making her invisible to start into 2 Ricochet Cannons. But he's got a Blimp at the same time right now to the top side. Triggers the Giga Bomb, but he does unfortunately get hit by that Giga Bomb. That's a lot of damage on those Yetis.
This is brilliant though, and just keeping the timing of the RC on track is perfect, and he doesn't have to worry about her being caught on the compartments to the left or right. He's funneled that with the Barbarian King and the Angry Jelly, the Blimp, so the RC walks through the 10 o'clock compartment, beelines to the Town Hall, that goes down. Now he can deal with the CC, continue to turn her invisible, and he's all the way through to the Monolith.
Fantastic chart. He still has more invises for this RC. She just keeps going. Grabbing the Town Hall, the Monolith, the Spitter, even a Poison and a Multi. This is the value he is looking for. The King took out a small section. The Blimp took out the top section. What? And look at this RC go. If she gets this Crusher mode, okay, there's no way, right? There's no way.
She gets it.
Wait.
Oh, she hadn't turned, I think she might have.
But I would say it was still, that would have just been bonus.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter for his Dragons anyway. Look at all of the support Rocket Loons as well to pick off air defense. There goes one of them on the right-hand side. That helps to alleviate damage. It also keeps the Dragons moving through the base itself. Lots of minions spread around the top side of the base, just making sure to get rid of the non-defensive buildings so that time isn't a factor. But that had to be one of the highest value RC charges I have seen in a long time.
And that one Rocket Loon pulling the poison and a bunch of red air bombs. So a clutch Rocket Loon there. Minion Prince gets a brilliant ability. Air Skelly's coming through, but he's moving his way through this Minion Prince. These Dragons are powering their way through the section, and then even another Rocket Loon and 3 more Rocket Loons to use as he's trying to sprinkle them in around the space.
Yeah, I thought he might have used them all together on one area of the base, but trying to just snipe off those Wizard Towers. Minion Prince continuing to charge up with the Dark Crown. He really just has to get through these multi-Archer Towers, and that is it. Plenty of Dragons to split the damage, but they will start to fizzle fast. However, they are condensing into this area. He's still got 2 Rocket Loons, most likely for that Archer Tower at the bottom. There they come, again splitting the damage of the multi-Archer Tower. Can the Minion Prince finish this off for him?
And yes, indeed, he's loving it. That is now a second triple for Repotted Gaming, and MILLESIME MG at this point need both a Not and Nest 4X to triple just to tie the star count, and then hope that General X and Philip get low percentages.
Yes, they are 42 percentage points behind at the moment, so they would need 2 sub 80% attacks, which General X and Philip, they've been perfect so far. They are so good at Clash of Clans that is pretty unlikely. Anything can happen. I reverse jinxed an attack before when I didn't think it was going to go through. I'm happy with that. I don't want to be jinxing anything here, but surely Repotted have got this in the bag, Carbon.
Well, you never know. Some did say that with a previous match when MILLESIME MG were involved, right? They thought they were out.
Fortunately, I wasn't casting.
But I can only imagine what you were thinking. Yeah. But here it is. Not is up next for MILLESIME MG. No matter what, as long as there's still an attack to go, you've got a chance. And they're hoping that that is happening 2 times for them in one competition.
Ice Golem sprung straight off the map there, so gets limited freeze value. Archer Queen taking heavy damage here and does allow the ability to go off. Presumably that was planned. A lot of the time it's not. But let's see what happens with this part of the attack. He's got the recall and he decides to recall the queens, but here's the issue. He's left the healers, so he has to deploy the queen right next to it to pull the healers there.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that giant to be there at all.
He didn't react at all, though, which makes me think...
Because maybe he's just like, you know, it happens, I just gotta keep going. I can't react to it, I gotta stay focused. As he does have the overgrowth onto the town hall, but let's see, the queen is going to the left side, while the roots are going to the bottom. Everything is going wrong here. The flame flinger is still working on the top side, but this is not looking good, especially with the queen and the roots splitting and having to use these spells in separate spots, and the queen being distracted on that clan castle.
Does he overgrowth to get them to the town hall, or can he redirect the RC there with the ability? Let's see what he's got in store.
Well, looks like the roots are going to the right. The Ice Golem will be able to slow the RC down while the roots get out in front.
Rocket Spear it is by the looks of it, but the RC is frozen, so she's going to be caught up there a little bit. However, even after he snipes that town hall and takes it down, there's just no way he gets through this base now. And we know that MILLESIME MG being 2 stars behind and the percentage, this has to be a 3-star, and it just doesn't look likely.
No, this is not going to pull through, unfortunately. With all the damage still in the core, pops the King ability, and he knows it. King can't get there, and MILLESIME MG don't have that triple. While REPOTTED Gaming already have 2 3-stars, and REPOTTED Gaming still have 2 more attacks to go in, and they are looking to just cruise their way to the lower bracket final, who they would have to take on Elevate. And this now means that if REPOTTED Gaming hold on, which is most likely going to happen, then we will, for the first time ever, have at least one individual being crowned a 2-time champion.
Ooh. There you go, Carbon.
Wow.
It also means that we will have kicked off the wars today with Elevate and REPOTTED, and we'll kick off the wars tomorrow with Elevate and REPOTTED. Tune in, Deja Vu. And Nat, we're looking to finish off this attack, try and get as much percentage points as he can. Super Minions sniping off a few extra buildings. It is into the mid-70s, but General X, team captain, presumably going next, looking to finish this one off and get REPOTTED Gaming that victory.
Yeah, nice try, 77% 2-star. So yet again, unfortunate for MILLESIME MG. Things not going their way in this match. And when you're competing in a competition like this, you gotta just be performing at your best this weekend. Some teams, just unfortunately, it doesn't happen for them. They can perform the best on one day, but then all it takes is the other day for it to all fall apart.
I feel like MMG looked so good in the last chance qualifier, but none of these other teams were there. They'd already qualified. So now that they're back up with literally the best of the best, you can see where they're just struggling that little bit. But it does mean even if they lose this war, they are finishing 4th out of this World Championships, which is still a hugely respectable position and a nice amount of prize money to be going home with. However, General X looking to finish this one off. They still have their sights set on being double world champions.
And the opportunity is there with that Warden starting to the right side with the Angry Jelly. Unfortunately, Air Skellies will slow this charge down. So he's going to have to power through that with a Yeti down to the bottom side. And this Warden's going to have to charge his way towards possibly that Ground Expo, because once he drops that Ground Expo, a Flame Flinger could come down once the Ground Expo locks onto the Warden to help protect it.
Yes, just waiting until those defenses that can outrange your flinger are either taken down or locked onto something else, and you called it, Carbon. There's the damage onto the Warden. Flame Flinger now moving in. One thing you can see is he's got freeze spells in his composition as well. That is presumably because if the Warden is taking too much damage, he can't turn the Warden invisible, because otherwise it would redirect the Expo to the Flame Flinger. So in order to protect the Warden, he's got the freeze spells in just in case.
Yeah, that Flame Flinger needs to stay protected because they can move through and get a lot of value, but he does wall break into the monolith compartment with a jump to utilize to get towards that town hall, but this Warden is taking his time. Can't really start this attack until that ground expo goes down because it's going to take out the Flame Flinger if he is reacting too early here. So the expo has now finally one more shot, goes down, and the Warden will join in as Rocket Loons get lured out. Ice Golem, we got the Furnace, so he's gonna jump straight to that town hall.
Yeah, beautiful job. Just means his troops have to now be moving directly through the middle. And I love the use of the Royal Champion down one of the flanks. All of those Skelly spells will be used to assure that the Royal Champion can take out this entire third of the base, but she's run straight into the traps, Carbon. Nearly lost her there, which would be critical since she is helping to set the pathing for the Yetis.
Yeah, so much Giant Bomb, Spring Traps down on the bottom side, but he's able to still power through, still has the RC ability, a couple Skellies, but look at the Flame Flinger. It's still going to the right side, making his way through. The Crusher Mortar to the top side, Queen and RC, both with their abilities. The healers have not gone down, which is clutch. They will now transfer off to the Warden, trying to help him out, but can the RC stay alive behind a Skelly spell while the Flame Flinger is still going?
How does General X keep his composure? It looked like the RC was going down. He kept her alive. The abilities he's managed to keep for impeccable timing. As soon as that Crusher Mortar turns to the Yetis on the right, there's the Skelly spell in to protect the other heroes. 22 seconds. This is all about time. He's got Valkyries down the bottom. Is it enough? He just needed the high percentage 2-star, but he really did look to close this war out. It is a 3-star for General X yet again.
What a performance from Repotted Gaming. Ness4X will have the final attack, but even if he triples, the war will be tied with one attack to go for Repotted Gaming. That is the domination that they are coming in with in this match and just not going Millesime MG's way. All 2 stars could not pull through, so at this point, Millesime MG can definitely be, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah, think about this, Carbon. We had Elevate as favorites for this competition, and they got dominated by Tribe Gaming. Now, Repotted putting up that dominating performance themselves. Elevate have to be able to pick themselves up tomorrow after that defeat to then take on a team that have put up a performance like that themselves. That is an interesting match to kick us off.
Luckily, Elevate and Repotted Gaming will have the whole day to plan their war, to know what to do, but can't be building new bases because time, you won't have enough the 24-hour clock. So it's already got to be made. You just got to pick which base to use. But let's see what Ness4X is doing as the RC is pathing her way to that left side. Will be able to use her ability, but unfortunately, he has lost that Spirit Fox. And no, not going to the Crusher Mortar over there.
Yeah, and unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get the multi here, so he's going to have to recall. Does get the Builder Hut with the Electro Boot damage. But yeah, lost the Spirit Fox early, so he wasn't able to have that rotation. Look, the Spring Traps on the outside of the base as well. Just try and get some of those troops early. Barbarian King going up for a bit of a jump as well. But the Root Riders are into the center, overgrowthing the Town Hall. Remember, it's all said and done at this point. However, Ness4X, being the skillful attacker he is, still aiming for that 3-star.
Yeah, he's moving his way through to the right side. King is staying out to the edge with that poison onto the clan castle, trying to take down the Furnace, which it was able to. The Baby Dragon was not able to grab that bomb tower towards the top, but there is the overgrowth toward the monolith. Does he path his way to the tunnel? Should be able to with the RC, but she's getting pretty low on health.
Yeah, I'm not sure she's going to be able to get that Town Hall. He had to overgrowth that Monolith as well because it was on the RC. Archer Queen can now reach that since the Root Riders had opened up the compartment. So manages to snipe that off. He's still got the healers on the Root Riders at the top, but losing the Royal Champion means he's lost a huge amount of DPS behind those troops.
Yeah, with these Roots trying to continue their way to the backside, the Monolith is going to be a menace right into the core of the base. He realizes it's not going to be enough, and it is all but over. There's only one final attack from Philip to come in with, and Judo, Philip could actually fall asleep and not attack. They're up by a star, and it's at this point, he could do whatever he wants. There is no pressure, the least amount of pressure in an attack so far, as they're already up 11-10 now. MILLESIME MG, what a great effort. You guys put on a performance nonetheless throughout this weekend, and we loved seeing it, but unfortunately they do fall short here today. So we definitely will see these players for MILLESIME MG for years to come.
Absolutely. They've put up an incredible performance, and given that they were on the brink of being eliminated yesterday, that would have been $20,000, but they have managed to push themselves up and triple that by finishing 4th, and it is $60,000 for the MMG team. $700,000 prize pool for this World Finals, and that means tomorrow we will have Tribe Gaming, Elevate, and Repotted Gaming battling it out for that world title and the $300,000 first place prize.
What a final day of the Clash of Clans World Championship. You couldn't have asked for a better storyline here. So many rivalries going at it. A defending champ's trying to get it. A Tribe versus Elevate, huge rivals in there. Either way, whatever happens, it's going to be an epic grand finals with Philip trying to close this one off with a 3-star. And if he's able to do it, we will have our first 14-star war. Let's see if he can do it.
Yes, Repotted Gaming just growing from strength to strength at the moment. He did have to commit a couple of extra rocket balloons there to get the air defense on the perimeter, but he's managed to get that, keep the RC alive, and powered her to the Town Hall, which is the most important thing. And from there, we'll beeline down towards the Multi-Inferno and right into the center, which is where he wants.
No, he turns to the Minion Prince. And then we'll continue. Wait, going to the Clan Castle. Okay, the RC's wait, actually.
That was actually good.
It's actually good. Wait, no, where should go? Go to the Builder Hut. Okay, you would love to get to the Monolith. No, don't say that. No, don't say that,
He's good. He's good. He just needs, like, I mean, he's good. He's got the star.
Sure,
that's the victory.
Yeah.
3 stars would be nice, though. But hey, Philip still managing to keep that Royal Champion alive somehow. Just about missed the Fire Spitter. But hey, he's still got okay value there.
Well, there was a tornado trap right at the bottom side of the base, so at least the dragons won't have to be spun around. But he will have to deal with that Monolith, unfortunately, in the core, since the RC said no thank you to that. As the dragons continue their way from the left, the Queen and the Giant are trying to make their way to the top. The Queen is actually targeting defenses with the Angry Jelly. But he will have that Minion Prince ability to be able to use and slow things down, but he decides to use one little invis for a dragon, try to take out that RC to the left.
Yeah, just waiting on that Minion Prince ability. There is the Monolith looking scary in the center. It would have been nice if the RC had have got the Fire Spitter. He is happy with where he's at. Just, hey, we'll accept where we are. We wanted the 14 stars, but hey, the 13-star victory will do. What a performance from Repotted Gaming. Either way, they move to tomorrow's matches. They can sit back, regroup. You said it, they can't build fresh bases, but what they can do is tweak their bases by moving traps, or they could also move defenses as long as they move them with buildings of the exact same size. So they might be able to adjust the bases slightly based on what they've seen from Tribe Gaming and Elevate.
Do you think they will rerun the exact same bases that have defended? That's been done many times.
Oh, yeah.
And Elevate is a team that will run the same base 5 different times in a war just to play that mental mind game. So you never know what to expect.
Do they run the same bases they ran against Elevate,
Yeah.
but flip the traps to try and bait them? We will find out tomorrow because